Here in the Chaunceys showroom, we've got underfloor heating with engineered oak flooring over the top. This is our standard original tectonic flooring, 180mm wide, and it's got a 6mm wear layer of oak over the top. Now, if you've got good quality flooring like that, and you've got some wear as we have on the floor, then it's no problem. If you've got a good quality floor like ours, then it's possible to resand and refinish this floor, and we're going to show you how.
Okay, so this is the machine we're going to be using today. This is a Lagler Hummel. It's the best continual belt sander you can get. It's the preferred tradesman's choice. Anything you hire isn't going to be to this standard. It's going to take more time and it's not going to leave a very good finish. So basically, this is the sandpaper we're going to be using. We start off on a very coarse grit if the floor requires it. This, as you can see, isn't in too bad a condition, so we won't be using this to start. We'll be using a 40 grit. It's quite an aggressive paper, but this is basically just to get rid of all your scratches, all your indentations and damage from the floor. This does the meat of the work, and then we move straight down to this. As you can see, it's a much finer finish. This gets the floor back to where we want it. This literally attaches straight onto the belt, close off the cap, and away we go. As soon as this is finished, the next process is on with a floor buffer or orbital sander, and we put on 120 grit. This is a fine finish, just to get any little indentations or any fibres that stand up to denib. As soon as that's done, you vacuum and you coat. So we'll start. The great thing about using the Lagler Hummel is it is 99% dust free. For every square metre, it knocks 0.1 milligram of dust out into the atmosphere, so absolutely next to nothing. The rest is collected via an industrial strength vacuum into a canvas sack, which is then taken outside of your environment and taken away. The next stage is obviously the edges. We're going to be using this, which is a Bonner 220. Again, the best machine on the market. We're going to be using exactly the same grit, a 40 grade, 178 diameter disc, and away we go. With any corners that you can't get to with the orbital sander, the edge sander, we use this. This is a Festool detail sander. It's not your standard, it's a lot of money, it's the best you can get, and again, gets in, and as you can see, leaves it completely perfect. Any other tools you can use can gouge and really leave an unsightly mark into an otherwise perfect floor. Okay, we're now ready for the next grade, which is an 80 grit, and this will be the finishing of the sanding. Okay, once we've finished the 80 grit sand, the next port of call is the floor buffer. We apply 120 grit sand screen disc to this and go over the whole floor to get rid of any tiny little imperfections or any fibres that are stood up after the final stage of sanding. Right, so the final stage before varnishing or putting down any treatment onto the floor is the vacuum. We've gone through all the grades of the sandpaper. We've finished on 120 grit floor buff. So now we literally just vacuum it to make sure the area is completely free of contaminants before you put your varnish down. So looking back, we've done the first cut, a 40 grit, an 80 grit and 120 grit floor buff. We've vacuumed the area and we're now ready for coating.